Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. Hello, world.
Hello, hello, hello.
Why are you so angry?
You're not my favorite person today.
Aw, that was Ms.Glam. And you got your girl Mohazel. And we are badass besties.
Maybe.
Besties?
Maybe.
Just besties? No.
Maybe.
Why? She's upset, you guys, because I wasn't wearing my thick or thin necklace today. And she's about to trade me in.
She knew I was coming over here. She had plenty of time. I was late. She had plenty of time to put it on.
You know, I was just more excited about having your wine and your fruit, which she's not giving credit for, but I'll take that. I'll take that. Ms.Glam.
What?
Besides me not wearing the necklace, how was your day today?
Fine.
Aw, she'll warm up, you guys. Just give her time. Okay, let's get into Weekly Delight. So where we take a person, place, or thing. It can be an inspirational quote. It can be a book. It can be food. It can be music. It can be bestie theme songs. Just whatever is getting us pumped and getting us through the week to get to Friday. Or like I like to say.
Please don't.
If you won't be mad, I'll stop.
I'm still going to be mad.
Friday! All right, Ms.Glam. With that being said, you go first.
I don't have a Weekly Delight anymore.
You do.
I don't.
You do.
No, I don't.
You do.
No, I don't. I'm not telling you that you're my Weekly Delight anymore.
Oh, why, Pumpkin, was I your Weekly Delight?
I don't want to discuss it.
I earned it.
No.
Maybe not today, but I earned that.
No.
I did.
Fine.
Thank you.
So I had a very hectic and chaotic day. I was going back and forth from my niece's school to work, and it was just a lot of everything going on all day long, back to back. And Mohazel, who used to be known as my bestie.
Formerly known as,
yes. No, you're going to have a symbol. You won't even be formally known as, just a symbol.
You just going to do me like that symbol? We don't talk about it. Go ahead.
She brought me wine and fruit because she knew I was going to be hungry, and she knew I needed wine for our podcast recording. And that's why she was my Weekly Delight until,
she eyeballed my neck, and then
she
it was
didn't
like
put
game over.
her necklace on.
I was half right. You know what I'm saying? My heart was in the right place.
And then
just
what's going to happen?
Cared.
Tomorrow, I'm going to get a picture. Tomorrow's too late.
But just know I'm going to wear it tomorrow.
See? Only wears it when I complain.
You know,
which is why I got to throw a fit every single time.
That's just to keep you scrappy.
Every single time I got to throw a fit to make you wear it. That's ridiculous.
Keep on, and I'm going to change my Weekly Delight. You ready? So my Weekly Delight was Ms.Glam. This chick is known to be Ms.Glam for a reason. I mean, she really goes all out with glamming it up. I mean, from makeup to hair, nails, toes, jewelry. I mean, she comes out looking red carpet ready. And she invited me to her Christmas party. And, you know, of course, I'm like, you know, I got my own swag. I'm not trying to be Ms.Glam. I'm just going to be me. You know what I'm saying? I got style. And then she showed me a picture of what she was wearing. I was like, damn, I gotta get right. All right. She's stepping out like she going to Met Gala, and I'm over here looking like I'm going to a house party. So Ms.Glam not only was like my personal shopper, got my dress that was amazing. She made sure my makeup was done to the gods. And of course, hair was done by Mohazel, but you know, we know that's always on and popping. But she had my nails done. She did my nails. She was my nail tech. She was my personal shopper. She was my makeup appointment coordinator. She did it all, and she made me feel like Cinderella. Aww. And the reason why I say Cinderella is because at midnight I really did turn back into my old usual self. But for those couple hours, I was stepping into Ms.Glam's world, representing her, hopefully properly, having a ball, getting her out on the dance floor, and feeling like a princess, as pretty as my friend is.
No.
Yeah, it was
fun.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
I like getting dressed up.
Hey, have we ever made each other our weekly delights at the same time?
I think so.
Maybe?
Maybe.
Okay, it's rare though.
Yeah.
That's like a celebration in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Aw, I love you.
Whatever. I'm still mad at you.
Okay, I'll take that. I like the chase. Speaking of chase, are you ready for the topic?
What's the topic?
To chase the paper or to get the paper? That is the question. And so I know for you guys out there listening, you're like, what in the world are we talking about? It's the same thing, right? So what we're talking about is the importance of getting a college degree, or is it really important to get a college degree? Is it? I mean, the argument can be made either way. So we're going to dive into, points on why you should get a degree and points on you don't necessarily have to go down that road. Are you ready, Ms. Glam?
Yes.
Okay. So obviously, let's jump into it. What side are you on? And why?
It depends.
Bitch. You know what? For that alone, I should be, it should be like even. Because now I'm going to be heated. We both heated. Go. Let's go. Gloves off.
Well, okay. So I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
My niece.
Please.
Has to get her degree.
Okay.
She has to. It's a requirement. It's not an option.
So it's based on who?
No, it's not. Like, okay. I do think it depends. Not all fields require a degree. However, I'm personally, invested in education. That's just my, that's how I was raised.
You graduated with honors.
But as far as my niece, I want her to always have something to fall back on, some stability. And
you don't think she can learn that through family?
No, it's not that she can't learn that and have that, other ways, but a degree is nice to fall back on. And I'll use some personal examples. One of the reasons why, like, one of my companies I was working with, we went through a RIF, a reduction in force, a layoff. Mm-hmm. And I was the most junior person on the team. I stayed because I had a degree and I was pursuing my master's. That was one of the key factors of what kept me in my position.
That's actually very interesting. So when you say RIF, and I know you said you're the junior person, but to be a little bit extra clear to show the importance of what you're saying, some of the people that let go, how long were they at the company?
10 years.
So that's a lot of experience. So that company valued the education more than the person actually doing the job experience. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not sure. And in all fairness, you had experience, but how long had you been on the job?
I think
3 years?
No. Oh, no. I don't even think I was been there 3 years.
So
I think
like
it was
2.
I don't even think I was there that long. I think it was a year, maybe a little over a year.
So what is it about the degree you think that made you more vital than the person that was doing work, knows the company, and knows the culture for 10 years?
So that wasn't the only factor. I think another piece was...
because you're cute?
No. I think another piece was just what all we did and what all we wanted to do as far as career aspirations. I was looking to grow and take on more. And at that time, that person didn't.
So you were ambitious.
I don't think it was so much ambition, but, at that point, when you're going through a riff and you're getting smaller, you want people who are more versatile, who can do more, because you're going to have less. So I think that played a part in it too.
And your degree.
But I think... that. No, and it wasn't so much that my degree allowed me to do that. But at the end of the day, when you're going through a riff and you have to, and you're putting that on paper and you're going through line by people and you have to look at them from a standpoint of position, because really that's what you're doing. You're looking at them by position. Mm-hmm. So what do each have? Yeah, this person has years, but this person has a degree. And you have to make a justification of, if one has to go, who's going to go? And it needs to look good on paper, because at the end of the day, if someone, makes a claim that you let me go over someone who was less qualified, you have to be able to prove that.
And that's interesting. So my approach from it, now, mind you, I do have a degree, but in all fairness, to give extra credit to you, you have a master's.
Yes.
I just have a regular college degree. Nothing wrong with college degrees, but obviously if me and you were talking education-wise, you are above me in regard to education.
And I was in the process of getting my master's when we were going through this process. So that was one of the things, too, and the job was paying for it. Right. That was one of the considerations, too.
Girl, you leave with that. Listen, stop the show. If I'm paying for your education, Bishop. Other one, you need to kick rocks, because she owes us money. We need our money back in work. So, but no, I get what you're saying, though. I'm just playing. But in all fairness, I do have a degree, but I don't necessarily feel you have to have it. I feel like it's a bonus. I feel like it's a cherry on top. But okay, I'm not saying companies look at this, disclaimer. But what I'm saying in regard to when you're dictating your future, because that's the perspective I come from. I get that you were talking about what companies look for, and I like having those different viewpoints, right? But my perspective is looking at the person. I'm very much a hippie when it comes to this, and I think opportunities open and you just have to go for it. I feel like everybody's destined, but I also feel like part of it's destiny and part of it is you believing in yourself, you feeling like you can achieve it. And I know that's a mantra to live by, but I feel like the traits that can help you get to there is not something they can teach you in college necessarily. Like having that go-getter skill, having that hustler skill, you can learn that from your family. You can learn that from the streets. You can learn that from just your environment, your community. You can learn that from reading books. You can learn that from watching TV shows. You can learn that from your role models. I feel like the influence is everywhere. Being a go-getter, having ambition, having a good work ethic. I mean, some of the things that make me a good worker has nothing to do with my degree. I mean,
yeah, but that's not necessarily
a little bit. I like the people skill part,
but that's not what the degree is looked for from a company
standpoint.
At least not from my standpoint.
Yes, and that's why I said I loved your standpoint. I'm saying like and I feel you. I 100%. I'm saying if I am a person that has to decide, I just finished high school, what am I going to do with my life? I feel like a part of it has to be my drive. I can go to college, I can get a degree, and I can be a lazy ass. That's just facts. That's just real talk, right? So to me, the degree doesn't, I know companies look for that. I'm just saying once they get in the door, I'm saying if you can figure out how to get in the door, I feel like if you can figure out a way to get to that interview and convince them, I feel like someone who gets the job with a degree and someone who gets the job without a degree could still be of equal weight if you let them hit the floor running and figure it out on their own. But if you just have that stance on, you're looking primarily at the paper. And I get it. At the end of the day, that's what a job's going to do. I'm just saying I wish it could be changed a little to where that person's being, their persona, their work ethic, their just all these things that make them a hard worker, if that can be translated on paper, if we can teach them how to put that on paper as a skill.
But here's the problem. When I get 200 applications,
I get it.
I got to weed out some way, and it has to be a way that makes sense and is fair. So at the end of the day,
but is it?
But at the end of the day,
theologically it's fair.
You got the degree. So that at least saves me, maybe only 100 have a degree. I've cut down 100. Now I get to, okay, this person, has, a degree in the field of
it's all based on these technical footnotes on their resume.
And because at the end of the day,
you can't buy charisma from college.
I don't need charisma.
That work ethic. You can't buy someone who is a leader and has that ambition to rise up and grind.
Here's
you
the thing
can't buy that from school.
But it's not about that. It's
not about it to get in the door. It's not about it for you, like someone who reads resumes and does the hiring. But I'm saying, you mean to tell me you haven't seen people in real life outside of work that can do some amazing things, and you wonder why they don't have opportunities given to them?
No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, so just because you don't have a degree doesn't mean you don't get the position unless the position
applicants.
requires it. There are some positions that require a degree. Like when I'm recruiting for an engineer, sorry, but you could have an engineering degree. Why? Because the nature of the job requires that you know the calculations and the mathematics and all that stuff to do the job. I can't do that job.
What if they have the experience but not the degree? What if somebody just put them on for whatever reason? Would you overlook that?
No, because it's a requirement on the resume. And here's why. So when we design the job and design the pay scale to go along with that job, a degree is required. And
what exactly is the degree for? I mean, what if, because at the end of the day,
because
all I have to do is put, I have a degree on the paper, right? Not my GPA. I could barely just have passed and got enough to just go and walk
the thing.
For graduation. You don't get to see that because I don't have to put that on my paper.
No, you don't.
All you want is that paper.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like it has on the resume what degree, and if you needed to back it up, bring in the degree. But you don't go that far. But
yes,
I'm just
we do.
Okay,
we verify everyone's degree.
Okay, so
if it's
fine.
a requirement,
have a degree.
We double check.
But what I'm saying is grades are not of importance. So if I just scaled by and barely paid attention to class, how truly important to the nitty gritty is this degree?
Okay, in this case, I work for an aerospace company. It matters. That plane can come down if your calculation isn't correct.
I understand that, but it should matter what kind of grade you made. And also, if you had the experience, sorry, F the degree. I'm taking the person with experience that can show me they never had a plane go down.
Well,
I know that's kind of hard to say in your field, but
but most of the time when we are looking, it's not just the degree. We are looking for a degree with the experience, and it depends on the level. If I'm interviewing for an entry level position, that's different. Yes, I can just take a degree and we can groom and train and things like that.
See, that's what I'm saying. But they don't have that experience.
Yeah, but they have the degree, meaning I can't teach you all the mathematical equations for how to be an engineer.
It doesn't mean you got it right, though.
You're right. And we will figure that out when we go through training and going through the process. When you start, you're not turned loose on your own. And there are checks and balances. But I can't hire me, who does not know engineering calculations and things like that, to decide whether or not this aircraft is safe for flight.
I understand that. And that's fine.
And this is an extreme situation.
And that is
it's a little bit different
situation. But just to take it one more notch to that, and then we'll kind of go in a more, because that is an extreme field. I understand. And real true talk, I ain't gonna, in real life, I'm not gonna fault you if you didn't hire me because I didn't have the degree. But if I just can't afford college and I'm like, listen, ma'am, give me a test, whatever you need me to do to prove it, and I have the skill and I can do the math. And like you said, you guys can train me on the rest, but I got some of those tactics and techniques in my arsenal, in my dome that you're talking about this degree has, just because I chose not to go to college. But I can prove to you that I'm smart like that.
But you can't prove to me that you're smart like that because
you said calculations, so
okay.
I'm assuming there's a formula to a lot of the things that you're talking about. There's some math skill to that. There's no way to check
I can't give you just a test. It's illegal for me to test just you and not test everybody else.
You got a law, so that's different. Okay. Yeah. we moving on. Bitch, lead with law. Okay, it's against the law. Okay, why are we even going down this rabbit hole? I'm messy.
No, if I had like a standardized test for everyone, but I can't test for engineering. I need you to have a degree so that you have the basics. And then it will come out if you don't have the basics to be able to do the calculations and things you need to do, the analytical skills of, all right, this is, because you're advising others. Plus that degree is because you're a subject matter expert. You're making decisions.
Right. We're in a really high, small window field. That's a little bit unfair. So if let's back out of that and try to do something a little bit more broader. To where we give someone with a degree and someone without a degree an even playing field.
So, and that's the thing is,
so put your hat on with that.
If you have a role that not necessarily has a specialization for that position, and I don't know.
I mean, just starting in on a company, it could be, telemarketer or banking or something like that.
And if the degree's not required, okay. But if you got two similar candidates and they both have the same amount of experience, they both wowed you in the interview, guess what? The person with the degree is going to win. You have to weigh out, which one's the better. And if the only difference is the degree's going to win because now you got extra points.
In the corporate world.
I mean, even in the corporate world, there are jobs that don't require degrees. I know lately they want, corporate is valuing for their managers to have degrees. That's one way to not level the playing field, but try to figure out, okay, I'm looking at all these people, what differentiates them? Yes. They're all awesome, but these two have a degree and I only have two positions. That's what I'm getting at.
That's why I say I feel like degrees, it shouldn't matter because if that's it, if that's all we have to differ between two candidates is this person has a piece of paper.
But it's not a piece of paper.
But yet they were awesome. They wowed the interview. Their skills on the resume, I'm assuming, were somewhat about the same, except that paper is what caused you to say that candidate is a more qualified candidate, then I feel like that more companies should take a chance. But if that's the case and the corporate world doesn't want to deal with it.
But it's not about corporate doesn't want to take a chance on someone. But if you're looking
at... No, it's not. If you said that if you said, and I'm quoting back to what you just said, you said that they're same, and then I have the only thing that makes them different is a piece of paper, then I'm gonna have to go with that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you're assigning points and you're saying, okay, skill, everybody, you get a 5 in everything.
But that's a choice. It doesn't mean that it's the right candidate. No, it just means that it's a choice.
Correct.
Switching gears and going outside of corporate world.
Okay.
Do you think that a degree has to matter? Because I don't think it does.
For instance,
I think that a person who can come up with a business plan if they have the knowledge to,
I'm not saying
whatever
if you
they're not
can't
skilled
be
at, have
successful.
their components in place, meaning have their partners in place that can handle what they don't know, they can successfully thrive in this.
I'm not saying they can't.
Great country of ours and build their own company and be successful.
I'm not saying they can't, but in the terms of, say,
you're going more corporate, and that's fine. Because but that company is just making choices. It doesn't mean it's necessarily the best candidate, unless we're talking about the airplane. And I'm just being devil's advocate, but I agree they really do need to have a degree.
But it's not even about. It's about trying to be fair and consistent. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you have to have a degree even in the corporate world, but when it comes to getting that extra it does look good because it's a bonus.
I mean, but so is also who you know.
Not necessarily.
That does happen. That is very well true. It does happen. So I'm saying is there are these little incentives that at the end of the day gives that 1 point to get the person. It's all about getting that 1 point. And that's fine because at the end of the day you want money.
Because you have to be competitive in the market.
What I'm saying in the overall scheme is we create our own destiny. If you really want to make something happen, you can. You really can. If you want to make something happen, you just have to visualize it, realize it, put plan to action, and then really what you don't know, you study. If that means you need to go to school, but it doesn't necessarily mean research doesn't mean you have to go to college.
I'm not saying that if that's the only way to be successful is to go to college.
Right.
But what I am saying is, does it make it easier? Yeah.
For corporate world.
But even for non-corporate world.
Not necessarily.
Because here's the thing is, that degree also helps establish, your expertise. Like when you write.
But there are a lot of successful people in the world that are experts.
I'm not saying
that don't have a degree.
I'm not saying they have to have a degree. But when you make up your bio and it doesn't have to be a degree, it could be a certification in the field that you're trying to work in.
Sure, maybe that degree is necessary. I'm not saying you can go into a hospital and with a dream and with
and be a doctor,
go-getter skills, you too can cut open my chest and take out my heart and give me a bypass. No, that's fine. But for people who want to start their own clothing company, for people who want to, build their own record studio. If somebody wants to do some great things and be a community leader, it helps, but it's not necessary.
I'm not saying it's necessary. What I'm saying is it makes things easier. Your education is your education. No one can take that from you.
And your bank account is your bank account. And if you get it to that right number, they don't care what degree you have.
But here's the thing is, at the end of the day, it's always something to fall back on.
And when we're in a recession, I've seen plenty of people with college degrees. And here's where, and let me go there. I've seen plenty of people with college degrees when companies, like you said, have to close, or when companies have to riff, or all these things. And they are so used to that particular position. They're looking at newspapers for that particular position and won't take jobs that are open until you get the job that you want and feel you're entitled to. They don't have that skill. And that's why a lot of them were suffering during this recent recession. And it was almost like an entitlement, like I'm only going for those jobs. And that's why I'm saying the difference between you creating your destiny. If something happens to you, I agree with you. That paper can be a fallback if you use it to your advantage. Not everybody does. They feel an entitlement to that paper. And honestly, the people who survive, I don't care what income level they're at, if something happens, to me, the ones that bounce back the best are the ones that just have that go-getter skill and say, I got to do what I got to do to make my family eat.
But I don't think that has anything to do with whether or not you have a degree or not, because people with degrees have that too.
I'm not saying they don't, but what I'm saying is there is something in you that is equal to people with a degree and without a degree. And it's that drive, that grind. You can't buy that in college. Tyra Banks never got a degree, but guess what? She teaches at Stanford about personal branding. She now teaches. That's what I'm saying. She took opportunities, while I was reading her book, Perfect is Boring, where she took opportunities. She was supposed to go to college or go do modeling. She chose to go do modeling. And guess what? One of the best decisions she ever made, because from then on, everything snowballed into all the success she has. Now, I'm not saying it always works like that. Please, I'm not advocating for you to just well, if Tyra can do it, I can do it. Hail to the no. And don't be saying badass besties co-signed that. I'm just giving an example. But she was nervous about it, and she prepped, and she worked hard, and she practiced, and she did all these extra steps to research that did not require going to college, to make sure when that opportunity presented itself, she was ready. All I'm saying is, and look at now she teaches on how she was able to build her empire based on just her taking opportunity and preparing for it and not being afraid to go through an open door. There is something that's magical outside of college that is in college students that want it, and for those who may not go to school but have it. And it's hard to put into words, but I feel like that person who has that is more powerful. And if they have a degree, then they're just on top of the world.
It does make life a little easier. Having a degree is like having a safety net. That's like having a savings account that is your cushion to fall back on.
Some people could say having more than one job is a safety net.
Yeah,
it's
and that's
perspective.
And it is perspective. But for me and my life experiences, it has been something that.
But you have that go-getter skill. You're not just going to sit and say, like, for instance, if something happened today, and heaven forbid, and I really don't like to speak because I'm not trying to, but if something happened to your job, or say mine, I'll throw it out there that way. If we both lose our job, it's on me, right?
I'm moving it with you.
Right. We gonna have to. Okay. But if something happens and you lose your job tomorrow, and the field that you are in is depleted, what you gonna do?
Well, luckily I chose a field that, as long as there are people in this world who want to sue everybody, I got a job. It's called job security. But my field is one that, honestly,
you chose that field.
Yeah, but there are fields that have gone away or changed, and you had to, figure it out. So, yeah, I could move into a different field. I just like the field I am. So if something happened, I'm going to stay at my field.
If that field is not there anymore, that's the question. What are you going to do?
I mean, I'm going to get a job.
Exactly. And there are some people that wouldn't know what to do.
But that has nothing to do with whether or not they have a degree.
There is something to be said about people who get degrees. Now, I'm not saying all think like that, but some feel like I did the 4 years, I did the 8 years, I did the 12 years, however many years. Where's my job? That's not, no, you graduated. There's still more you have to do.
Yeah.
You have to go look for it. You have to go then, network. You have to sell yourself. You have to not only make that resume shine, you have to shine when you go to that interview. And then on top of that, okay, congratulations, you got the job. You have to then show up and show out.
Yeah, but
make it feel that you are an asset, not the world owes you because you did your time. This is not that kind of a case, but there are people out there that think like that. That's what I'm saying. For those who
people
realize
who think like that don't mean they get the job. If you go into
some
a
will
job,
believe that all you need is that paper, darling.
Okay, well, and that's not what I'm saying is all you need is the paper. What I'm saying is that paper is a plus, and while it may not be necessary for your success, it does help.
It's not wrong, but I'm saying that there is more to it, and I feel like there is something to be said for those that, whether they have the degree or not, that there's more to it that is needed to get the job done. There is more to it. Okay, besides the degree, what else is needed in your field?
In my field?
Sure.
I mean, honestly, experience.
Okay. That's something you can't get in college, but keep going.
No, you can. But I think you can. Yeah, you can.
Interning, but
you can.
You have to
work
and not
at a
just
job.
That is, you just don't get paid, or you could get paid.
No, I mean, you do need to have knowledge of employment laws and things like that because.
But someone could learn that outside of school.
My field has certifications. So most of the time, it's not so much the degree they're looking for the certifications. However, to get the certifications, you got to have the degree or the experience. Right. So it kind of makes you have to get the degree because you can't even test unless you have the degree or the experience.
Okay.
So it's kind of a catch-22. But say you start your own business 20 years and you want to go and you start this business when you were 18 and now you're 38 and you decide that I don't want to run my own business anymore. I'm going to the corporate world. Now you're competing with other people. But
if you ran a successful business for 20 years and you have experience behind it, I mean, whether companies look at it or not, there's something to be said about that.
I'm not saying that it won't be looked at for them 20 years. But, okay, now you have someone who, they didn't run their own business. They were, they
fresh
ran
out of college with great ideologies from what their degree
not necessarily.
Has.
I think, I don't think that's comparing apples to apples because
it's not.
If I'm looking at someone who has 20 years of experience versus someone who is brand spanking new, it depends on the position. If this is a position that I, am hiring very entry level, then I have some questions to ask. It'll depend on how that person answers.
College degrees are great if you want to be a competitor in a field. But if you're saying to yourself, I want to invest in me and I want to create doors, I don't think the degree is necessary unless there's a specific field that you need to learn. Like if you're about to invent or create, the cure for cancer, sure. Yes, please don't just, be growing something in your backyard. But for people who want to create opportunities, they don't have to have a degree.
I'm not saying you have to have a degree. And
it doesn't mean that you can't thrive. I mean, in all fairness, I know our generation is the generation we got told you're going to school. Now kids can make a choice. But when we were coming up, it was kind of like, what, military or school, right?
Well, I had 3 options.
Okay,
military,
or get
school,
a job.
Get a job.
Okay, but those are the choices. And actually those were my choices too. But most kids had those choices for all the 80 babies of the world when time to go to school. And you know what a lot of us ended up with? Student debt. That's great. We got the job, but we're paying for student debt. But there are kids nowadays that instead of saying, I'm going to come out with student debt, I'm going to take that money and I'm going to invest it in, things I need to make myself successful. Or instead of going to that college, maybe I can just do the fast track and get a certification. I mean, there's more creative roads we can go down. And I get it in a corporate world, or if you're going in a lane where it is heavily saturated and so you have to try to stand out. Sure, the degree is necessary. But if you're going down these unbeaten paths, or you're going down roads and you're trying to break glass ceilings on ideas and paths for you, I don't think it's necessarily what what you have to do. I think it's just a bonus if you choose to. And I think, especially with this generation, not that I'm disrespecting what you're saying with school, because it's not wrong to say it. People are being a lot more creative. Boo, did you know you can get jobs just playing with your phone on the internet? Because that wasn't a thing when we were coming up and we're playing in chat rooms with AOL. People are creating lanes now, and people are creating opportunities now.
Can you say that you grew in college? That was an experience that I readily enjoy. And it may have been different because you were here.
Listen, no, because college is college. I feel like college was therapy based on the degree I had. But if I grew, it was not so much from the education I got. Granted,
but I'm not talking about
that's
education.
Not really fair.
I'm talking about college life, the experiences you had in college.
I feel like I was getting that even before college. I think, but in all, like, what I'm saying is, we prided ourselves in making sure we were in activities that were trying to level us up.
Yeah.
We didn't wait till college to get to there. We were already getting to there before we stepped foot on campus, were we not?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying about those go-getters. I just feel with the way knowledge is readily available, whether you're in school or not, for this next generation, that may not necessarily be the case. And I'm just making a plea that if doors shut on these kids, that they don't, because at the end of the day too, it's all boils down to, can you afford school? Or are you willing to take on that debt? Or are you willing to work 25 jobs? Or are you willing to fight for them scholarships? You come out with this pretty piece of paper, but a lot of time people come out with debt. I mean, they are going to Congress, to fight for these, debts to be forgiven.
I think some of it is because people went to,
sure.
You have different types of schools and ways to do it cheaper.
And they should do
but
it
they
smarter,
had a lot of for-profit schools that prey on others, and they give them this for-profit degree that may or may not be able to get them a job in the field that they said, oh, there are plenty of jobs.
Right.
Yeah,
but whether you can afford to go to school or choose to go to school, in this day and age, the field's open.
Well,
you just have to seize it and look for it and fight for it and grind for it. You cannot be a punk in today's age. You have to earn every opportunity that comes to you. You have to be willing to have a focus, have a game plan. And I think that's what our parents wanted for our generations. And I'm not saying that we didn't have it, but their game plan was the 3 options. Some the 2, but if not the 3.
I had 1. My mother said you had 3. My daddy said you were going to college.
Yeah, my 3 options weren't real options. The one option was school that was realistic. That was my only option. You know what I mean? Because the other option, I was told, don't go in the military. And nothing against military. My dad just told me, don't go in the military.
I wasn't disciplined enough.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it was more on me. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing against
each
the military.
Because, like, for instance, there are some people who school is not for them. Sure. And when I say college, I mean, like, there are technical colleges. So you get a technical degree in welding, machine operating, and engineering technology, all of that. Those I am including in the communication, business admin. I'm including all of those in degrees. And it's just, all it does is it shows that you're invested in your career field. And that makes people feel a little bit like, safe. Oh, they really want this.
It's safe. It's safe.
It's not necessarily safe. It's not safe. It's just,
there are people nowadays that I see more and more on TV. And I'm not saying that because I very much prided myself in being a little hustler as a kid. But there are people that are really 9, 10, 11, and 12 that are starting their legit LLC companies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't go to business school, and it's not obviously like this big, huge money maker, but the ethic that they just created for themselves, the research that they did, the energy that they created in themselves, the fire that they started within themselves, that they didn't get in school. They weren't teaching that in kindergarten. They weren't teaching that in second grade.
But that's not what they're looking for with a college degree.
I understand that. What I am saying is, in this day and age, more companies, corporate-wise, should take chances on these kids if They're phenomenal. I'm not saying let's just take a chance on every
kid. How do you know they're phenomenal?
By their experience. I'm sorry. If I know some kids that were, community leaders, starting their own nonprofit, and these are things that are actually happening. Kids that are starting their own nonprofits when they're a young age and it was successful and they're building a community. Yeah, I might, as a corporation, depending on if it fits with what's going on, I know that,
in the position,
might need to take a chance on that.
But no one's saying they're not going to take a chance on it. If you're looking at two candidates and you have one who has the experience, one that has the skills, one that fits in with the culture and has all these things, and the only thing they're missing is a degree, and it's not a requirement for the job.
Not every company is going to take that.
And then you have someone who the only thing they have is a degree. That don't make no sense.
No, sometimes it's in the corporation of the job position description. If you're trying to weed out.
No,
if you're trying to weed out, listen, I'm telling you from where I come from.
I know.
They don't look at, before they get to the skill, before they get to the little nuts and bolts of your resume of, what you did in your positions in the past, before they go to experience, it's right out the gate. This job says you have to have a master's degree. Oh, you don't? You're
right.
Out.
Correct.
There are companies that do that.
You're right.
So I get where you're coming from.
No, but
there needs to be more companies that do look beyond that.
No, but here's the thing is when you evaluate a position, so when you're doing a job market analysis or, a salary analysis and trying to slot a job, and you're saying that this job is exempt because, and it's going to be whatever salary, and it's exempt because it's going to be autonomous, because it's going to have this professional knowledge coming in the door of being able to do blah, 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 blah. And it's going to be a expert in or a master level of this because it has 5 to 7 years of experience and things like that.
See?
And it's going to have a, and we've decided it requires to have a degree.
I'm cutting you off is because some of the jobs that I went for, you didn't have to have a specialty. You just had to have, it'd say you need a master's. It'd say you would need a bachelor's. You need a 4-year degree or you need a master's. There was no, you need a master's in communications. You need a master's in business. You need a master's in that. It's just, you need a master's. So what is it, that specialty that you need? Wouldn't my skills then start setting me apart? They're already picking us apart at, you don't have the degree. We said 4-year, you're out. They're not even looking at the skill anymore. Because to me, what's the difference between my degree was sociology versus a business? It's 4 years, but to me, no disrespect to my degree, I loved it and it's definitely worked for me. The business degree to me is a real degree. Like mine ain't a real, a fake degree, but I'm saying like a business is something of importance.
So
in comparison to a sociology degree, because anything in my field for sociology wise, I have to go and get a master's and really a PhD in order to start making money. That's just fact.
Yeah, like social work.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. But with business, you can hit the ground running with a 4-year degree because that's a level of knowledge that is way more advanced and way more beneficial to a company than the people skill degree that I got.
It depends because, like, I got the same degree you had, or one of my degrees is the same as yours.
But you have a master's.
I understand that. But the courses I took were different than the courses you took.
Yes.
I took business level courses.
Okay, I understand that. But what I'm saying is the field that you went in required a specificness in regard to the degree. But in some of the fields that I went in, it just said you needed to have a 4-year degree. But you needed to have a master's degree. And honestly, the only reasons why I was able to trump it is because I had the experience.
It's usually one or the other.
If you are in a position where there is no specific degree in mind that they're looking for, then what is the importance of the degree except that it's to show that you have discipline? And that you're trainable and that you are capable of learning possibly the job.
No, it's not. I get that's why people think that's what the degree for.
Maybe that's ignorance of me.
Here's the thing is, yes, I have my undergrad is in political science and sociology. I work in HR.
You have a master's though.
I did not have a master's when I started in HR.
Understood. How did you get to that?
I went and got my master's because I wanted...
No, but you said you did the job before you had...
And it required a degree. The person who hired me was adamant that the person who worked for her had to have a degree.
What is the importance of a degree if you can't even say that it's like the case where you're saying, I need you to have a degree in space and science if you're going to work on these planes?
I think they didn't have HR degrees when I got in HR.
Sure.
Poli-sci, I got in, I majored in that because I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. Law and, interpreting law, I had classes that did that. That's a lot of what happens, day to day in HR. So it translates. So
your degree translated, but what makes
But she didn't ask
different?
for.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. Why is there a vagueness to a degree if it's so needed and necessary? And I get your concentration was a pretty good area. That's a good one. If you got that type of knowledge coming with your degree, that makes you a really good candidate. But what if it's me versus the business? But I applied for it too. And what if I gave the better interview? What then makes our degrees different? I'm trying to find why are the companies that are so vague on you just have to have a 4, you just have to have a master's. What is it that you're looking for? If you're not saying, I need a business major, or I need, I'm looking for communication broadcasting. I'm looking for medical degrees. Those companies need to really come and really, they can do what they want at the end of the day. I'm just somebody talking, but really figure out if you're making a position description for someone, if you can't justify and have a specific degree and have that be the justification for why you're getting the job, and all you're saying is you need a 4-year degree or you need a master's degree, then to me, eliminate that, because if you do, you can take more chances on people who have experiences. You can take more chances on people who have the skill, and you might be hiring your best asset. But by just putting a college degree, I'm sorry, someone who gets out of college, don't get me wrong when I say this, when you graduate college, you hold your head up high because that is an honor in itself. However, please do not think that that is just the only thing you need. You need to have other skills that college didn't teach you.
So a job description or a company will require a job to have a 4-year degree, and they don't necessarily specify what type of degree, because I don't want to weed out the ballet degree person who has 15 years of experience in contracts. Because if I say you have to have a contracts experience now, or a contracts administration degree, guess what? Now I can't hire you. Why would I paint myself in that box? A degree is required, but the experience is required as well. What I'm saying is having a degree won't count against you in life. It won't.
Yes. If you want cool points, fine. But
Thank you. I'm saying you won't. You gonna get your cool points.
Having money won't count against you either. However you get it. I mean, now Popo don't want you to get it illegal.
Okay. Final thought. Having a degree will never count against you. It's always a bonus.
Final thought. Having good work ethic
has nothing to do with having a degree.
And neither does having a good work ethic. It works both ways, darling. What I'm saying is those untouchable skills that you were born with, that you learned through your community, through your families, and through all those other entities that showed you what it meant to have that it factor, that charisma, that ethic. Those things can't be bought, and that is not a negative thing either. Period.
It depends.
I'll leave with that.
It depends.
All right, moving on. Petty word of the day. It's where we take a pretty word out the dictionary and we learn it, absorb it, and put it in sentences. But on our show, we do it with a twist. The petty sentences. Ms. Glam, you may go first.
My word this week is an adjective, and it is diaphanous.
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 That sounds like a marathon.
It's an adjective. It means insubstantial, vague. Mohazel is famously known for her diaphanous instructions, particularly driving directions.
I don't give driving directions.
Exactly. You've been banned.
I don't give driving directions.
Because you've been banned.
That's false, man. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Okay.
I always turn on Surrey. No,
you know what?
No. You know what gets you caught up is because I take the scenic route. Just because I go a different way, the way I want to go, the path not taken, you feel it's the wrong way.
So sophomore year in college.
Oh, we got a rabbit hole.
I get a phone call.
Wow.
From Miss Mohazel at like 5 a.m. in the morning.
5 a.m.
Going, okay, fine. It was 8, but it was 5 for me because I just went to bed. 8 o'clock in the morning going, I think I'm lost. I'm supposed to be going to EWC for an event. Can you help me? Well, where are you? This chick is on I-10 coming to see me. In Tallahassee, and is halfway there because she is in Lake City.
Oh, babe, that was good times.
In Lake City.
Do
you know how far Lake City is from EWC?
Rest in peace, Janice. That was good times.
No argument there. Again, I stick with my sentence.
We had a ball. We couldn't figure out how to get around, and that was before the days of Surrey.
Okay. You've been banned from giving driving directions.
And I don't have to. Surrey does it for me. But yeah, we just played Yolanda Adams the whole time.
She was coming to see me in Tallahassee.
We got to there right as it was ending. But
I'm in Osceola Forest. Is that near EWC?
Good times. I'll allow that story. Anyways, okay, my word, risible. It's an adjective.
Adjective? You stealing?
Laughable.
You're using adjectives now?
Actually, I used a couple. The last episode was adjective. It was.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you always got to be adjective. Why you can't use nouns? Now what? You want to copy me?
I mean, I don't use them a lot. Okay. So
go ahead with your
laughable
adjective.
To outsiders. Our petty comments towards one another may seem harsh or rude, but to us, it's risible.
No. Yes. With your diaphanous driving instructions.
And your diaphanous. Did I say it right? Diaphanous?
No.
Yo, fake! Okay. Yo, fake. Faye boyfriends.
Hey.
Oh, now it's fighting words.
Yes, don't talk about the book boyfriend.
So I hit a spot that's not risible.
No, it's not. That's harsh. Can't talk about the book boyfriend. You can talk about the real boyfriends, but not the book boyfriends.
Do you have anything left to say?
Yeah, stay off the book boyfriends.
I have Surrey now.
Until next time.
And we are out.